Hey guys, it's that short guy here, and I'm just going to do a quick comparison, just small minor things on what the ATS-V has versus the Camaro. I'm only doing this comparison because they both sit on GM's Alpha platform. Let me first highlight the similarities. They both can come with magnetic ride control, or they both can come with magnetic ride control suspension. So those are exactly the same. They both could have a 6-speed manual or an 8-speed automatic. I will talk about them more in detail in the series on what I like better and which one wins. But as far as, more similarities, technology, they're kind of similar. They both have heads-up displays. The Cadillac obviously has a little bit more tech. It has like automatic, it'll put you back in your lane if you let go of the steering wheel. And it has like brake warnings and automatic braking and stuff like that. So yes, it's a little bit more technological there, but backup cameras all standard, GPS is navigation, radio, the radio's Bose, that's Bose. I think it's a 10-point Bose versus an 8-point Bose, but I can't hear the difference personally. But yeah, so technology, Cadillac has a little bit more, but not so much more. I mean, it's not that impressive to me how much more it has. It's similar. I mean, I'm not a picky guy when it comes to technology, so. But there are some major differences, and I'll tell you guys what I like. This is not going to be a long video. It's just a few things, because at the same time they're very different cars. But the reason why I'm kind of bringing this up, used values right now they're very hard to compare because of what coronavirus did to the car market and the housing market for that matter. In my area, they are very close in price. If I were to take one that's a 2017, this is a 2017 with this one has 18,000 miles. This is 2016 with 20,000 miles here. They come out, depending on where you're at, they can be very similar in price. At the same time, some states have these where they're $10,000 lower than this one. So it just really depends on where you live, and I think the condition also really, really matters. But yeah, I think before pre-COVID, the ATS-V was I think between $5,000 and $8,000 more than the Camaro. But I think it's a kind of a good comparison too, because they both sit on that same two-door Alpha platform coupe style, and they're both kind of the same size. It kind of just depends on what you're looking for. And for that price difference back then, to me that's not that significant given, how similar the cars are. I definitely would say the ATS-V took a way bigger depreciation hit, but it was obviously way more. Sports cars always take a depreciation hit. I mean, that's just the way it is, and it's really bad. So, let's get into this video. It's gonna be short, quick and short. So, hope you guys enjoy it. Looks. What do I prefer? This video is simply what I prefer. I mean, everyone has different opinions. Yes, looks. So one is a retro style car. It's supposed to mimic an older, the old Camaros. It's kind of got that retro look. And one is a luxury performance car. For me personally, given the fact that these two cars probably cost about the same value used right now, I think the ATS-V is a better looking car. It could be just because of my age. I'm 29 years old. I prefer driving this car. It's more professional. It's more old. It looks more like a gentleman's car. That's not to say I hate the look of this car. I wish it was looking. This is a 2SS model. I wish it looked a little bit more aggressive. But with that being said, I do appreciate I like the carbon fiber. I like the bulge on the hood. I know the ZL1 model does have that, and that can be easily swapped out. But as far as looks, I think the Cadillac wins on this one. So let's talk engine real quick. I have my own opinions about the engine. I think that Cadillac I think what they were going for is trying to compete with the BMW series, or I think Mercedes, the C AMG series. I have no idea why they went with a twin turbo V6. It's not a bad engine. It's very responsive. It's fast. But it's complicated, guys. I mean, if you don't know how to fix cars, you better make a lot of money to take this to service every time at the dealership, because it's just, you got to know how to fix cars. It's got two radiators. You guys can watch my rebuild series. Two radiators sitting in front of these wheels. If your condenser goes bad, you have to take apart the intercooler, the condenser, and the radiator. I have a 6-volume service manual, so you're gonna take all that apart just to replace the condenser, which it will go bad eventually. So a lot of these things, it's like they shove so much technology into this small hood, which is the exact same size as the Camaro engine bay, right? It's not a bad engine. I'm not saying it works really well. It's really fast. It's really responsive. It's very unique. I guess you get that unique factor to it. People do when they work on this car, they see this car, or friends are just very fascinated at the twin turbo V6. But yeah, I guess what I don't like about it is that it's a twin turbo. I mean, for me, I'm a guy. I'm by trade, I'm a scientist, and what we say is simple is better. You want something that's simple and robust. You don't want something so complicated. And I think that's just the initial drawback is how complicated this engine can kind of get. But other than that, I think it's a beautiful engine. It runs extremely well. It's super fast. So it's yeah, that's for sure. All right, let's talk about the Camaro's engine. I love this engine. The LT1 was probably one of the best engines GM's ever made. It's responsive, it's fast, it's so fast. It's naturally aspirated. I love the fact that this engine is naturally aspirated. These engines are easy to work on. I used to have a ATS-V in 2004. Had the it just had the older generation of this engine, the Chevy small block V8. But you cannot go wrong. I still don't get why Cadillac didn't put this engine in the ATS-V, because it would have fit. It would have fit no problems. The same alpha platform, it's the same engine base size. Nothing bad to say about the LT1. My favorite engine. This is an awesome engine, guys. It's truly phenomenal. That's all I can say. So, engine-wise, goes to the Camaro. I totally love the small block Chevy V8. It's in my opinion, this is my opinion, guys, don't get offended. In my opinion, it's a far better engine. It's more superior, and like I said, it's naturally aspirated. So I take this engine any day over the twin-turbo V6. Alright, so let's talk exhaust. I know they're very different. Obviously, they're very different engines, and they're going to sound very different. I'm going to turn each one on for you. They're going to be started in sport mode. Each car has 3 modes. You got touring, sport, and track. This one has snow and ice as well. But let me start them in sport modes. That way the exhaust starts with the valves open. They're both quad exhausts. And you can, hear the difference. And I'll tell you my opinion when it's all over. So, what's the verdict for the exhaust? They are very different cars. The Camaro is obviously much louder, and it's deeper and throatier. It's like an all-American muscle car. Like, hear me, I'm here, I've arrived in my Camaro SS, and it's very loud, to say the least. And the ATS is very refined. It's a gentleman's car. It sounds like a European car. My wife likes the sound of the exhaust on the ATS much more. I think it's just as I get older, I like the sound of the ATS more on the sport mode. That's not to say I don't like the Camaro. I do like the Camaro a lot. I would say it's a tie, because I can always drive the Camaro in touring mode, and it's significantly quieter and it's more refined. So both have different modes you can drive in, and they'll open the exhaust notes. So I think it's a tie on the exhaust for sure. They're both very different cars. I do lean towards the sport sound of the ATS. It sounds so amazing when you're going up to 100 miles an hour on the highway. It's so clean sounding. But in general, it's a tie. They both sound really good, so there's no complaints there. Tie for both. Let's talk transmission. Both cars actually had the option to come with a 6-speed manual or the 8-speed automatic, actually. So it just so happens that this one's equipped with a 6-speed manual, and the Camaro's equipped with the automatic. Mostly I bought the Camaro as an automatic because my wife wanted to drive it as well, and it's a convertible drop top. So she wanted to take her girlfriends out. They wanted to have a good time in the summer, have fun. But she couldn't drive manual very well, so we got that in a automatic. So the Cadillac has a manual, and I'll talk about the differences and what I prefer better in a second, but let's go ahead and look at the Camaro really quick. So you can see the Camaro is equipped with the 8-speed automatic transmission. Like I said, it's more versatile, that more people can drive it, but it's not my favorite transmission, and I have a lot to say about it. I I can tell you that if you were to buy a Camaro, buy it in the manual. The 8-speed automatic transmissions are well known across the board amongst the Silverado lines, the Escalade lines, the Denali lines, to have huge Corvette lines. They suck. The 8-speed transmission is a terrible transmission in the fact that the torque converters constantly fail. And that's the reason, because it has to do with the fluid that they created, and also just, I guess, the design of this new transmission is just, the fluid is very hydroscopic. It takes in a lot of water over time, causing a breakdown of the transmission gears inside. There's a lot of fluid, so I a lot of metal shavings when you change the transmission fluid. I actually changed my Camaro, the 15 Escalade, and my mom's 17 Escalade transmission fluid like every 15 to 20,000 miles. If you don't believe me, let me show you guys this really quick. This is my stockpile of LV ATF HP. You can see it goes all the way to the back. I keep this readily on hand in order to prevent the shudder that happens when it goes from V8 to V4, or if you're simply driving down the highway. You know, I keep a handful of gaskets and filters. I have multiple filters, GM filters for the automatic transmission. So my verdict for transmission goes to the Cadillac, but not because the Cadillac wins outright. It's because that this Cadillac is equipped with the 6-speed manual. The Camaro, I would highly suggest anybody getting a Camaro, get it in the 6-speed manual. The 6-speed manual is so I can't tell you how much more reliable it is than the 8-speed transmission. If you want to keep this car for the rest of your life, or I mean, at least drive it till it drops dead, you're going to be way better off with the 6-speed manual. I mean, manual cars are so much easier to work on too. Like changing the clutch, I have a video of me doing on an 04 ATS-V. I don't think it's so much more different on this car, really. It's the same concept. Manuals have been around for a long time. They're very robust, and this car, and I believe the 2 SS with manual, they both have active rev match. You can activate it on the pedals here. That makes driving this thing so freaking easy when you downshift. You don't need an engine blip, you don't need a hill to toe at all. It just automatically does the job for you. And it makes you, if you want to go around a corner faster, it's much easier to do that with the active rev match technology that they built into these new ones. So yeah, I have so much to say about the 8-speed transmission. I don't know what GM was thinking. It does work well. That Camaro has performance shift, and it works well when the fluid's fresh. It'll work well for like 10 to 15,000 miles when the fluid's fresh. But over time, it gets worse and worse. You could literally feel, I can get into anybody's Suburban, any soccer mom Suburban, any mom driving an Escalade, I can get into it, and I can immediately tell whether they got that fluid flush or not, because I can feel that V8 to V4 vibration. Some cars are so bad. I mean, I know I'm going to put this video out there, and I'm probably going to get a lot of comments where people have experienced exactly what I'm talking about. I believe there was a lawsuit filed against GM about it. I don't even know if they ever got it fixed. I think all the cars probably suffer from it. The only way to fix it is constantly be on top of your fluid flushes. Just be on top of it. Do it all the time. But with the manual, it's so easy. You don't have to do it. It's so easy also to flush this, to change out the fluid. You just drain it and fill it back up with a little pump. So easy. You can check out my channel. There's a video on me doing that. So yes, I'm a manual guy. I'm a manual guy in general. I prefer 6-speed manuals. But let's see how that Corvette turns out. I have that C8 getting fixed, so I'll have a video of that soon. And yeah, I will have to do a lot of transmission work on that, because I heard that according to the service manual, it does need to be serviced every 7,000 miles. So it's a totally different kind of transmission, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, for now, manual's the way to go. Okay, let's talk interior really quick. Let's start off with the Cadillac. And we're not going to compare this directly to the Camaro, but I'm just going to give you my thoughts on it. For a car with an MSRP of what? It was like it was 69, almost $70,000. And I think if you added all the packages, it would have been well over 70, right? This interior, it's nice. It's not, I like it. I don't mind it, but I think if you're paying 70 grand for it when it was new, it is lacking, man. It's lacking, that's to say the least. I think a lot of the competitors probably had much more nicer interiors. It's just a sporty interior. What can I say? You got suede steering wheel, suede inserts on your seats. Cadillac Q is okay. It's not the best system, but you know, it works. But yeah, it has plush leather. The back is, you know, it's nice. It's got suede inserts there. I just don't think it was 70 grand nice, personally, in my opinion. But I think for what I paid for it, and you know, for me real building, I think it's a beautiful interior in that case. Yeah, I think it's as far as the car being new and having this interior, I don't think so. I don't think it wasn't worth the MSRP that they were asking. So that's just my opinion. I'm a rebuilder. You know, I know what it's like. It's just, I've taken all these trim pieces apart, so I know what it feels like outside of the car, and I just have my own personal opinion about them. But yeah, I mean, that's, you know, I think, you know, the Cadillac could have done a little bit better job, and I think they did in the new V series. But yeah, so. Okay, let's talk interior for the Camaro. I love it, guys. I think Chevy did a great job. I mean, MSRP on these cars, I believe this one was, it was like 58 on the sticker, and the Cadillac would have been somewhere around 70. But really, guys, I mean, for a retro style car that's supposed to mimic the old Camaros, golly, Chevy did a great job. I love it. I personally love the interior of the Camaro SS. I think it's it really just kind of brings me back to the old Camaro, man. Look at these vents. I mean, gosh. So yeah, I definitely give it up to the Camaro. They win on this one. And yes, like I said, they're different classes, so I'm not comparing them directly to each other. But to, you know, for the year that they were made and for the price that they were made at, I think the Camaro definitely wins on the interior. Yes, the Cadillac is a luxury type of interior. It's different. It's a gentleman's interior. But golly, what they did with this one, I really like it. I really like the Kalahari too. The Kalahari against the black, it just looks amazing. And yeah, I'm happy with this interior. It's really cool. That's all I can say about that. Here's the back. And yeah, you can see I have a wind deflector up right now. So when you have the top down, the cabin remains really quiet with that up. So that concludes my comparison of the ATS-V and the Camaro SS. Like I said before, they both sit on the same alpha platform. So if you're in the market for an SS, a 2SS, it has to be a 2SS to make kind of more of a closer comparison. But if you're in the market for a 2SS, consider the ATS-V. If you're in the market for an ATS-V, consider the Camaro 2SS. I think you got to drive both. Both are very fast cars. Both are very fun cars. I know the market's kind of crazy right now. The used market is very crazy, especially where you live. Cars are just, they can't keep cars on the lot, man, at the dealerships. It's insane. It's insane what's going on right now. But, you know, if you can find a great deal on one of these cars, that's awesome, you know, given what's going on. But definitely two really cool cars, two very similar cars in size. Both GM cars as well. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope this maybe helps some of you guys who are interested in these two cars. But that's just my opinion. Thanks.